Welcome back. I am your host, like the guy just said. I'm Stephen Leahy. I'm the attorney of the show, not the realtor of the show. We have the real, not the technical producer of the show. We have that Deborah Schreiner.
No,
Deborah Schreiner is our technical
producer.
Who's
the realtor of the show?
Jim Leahy's our realtor. I am the attorney of this show.
I'm with that property.
Here on AM560, the answer. So let's do the next segment.
It's the blog segment. The blog. The blog.
I'm going to soak up some music.
And some fun.
Well, fun goes with the music. That's true. So what I'm going to talk about this week, and this is it's kind of what this whole show is about, right? The IRS Radio Hour is what I do when I help people with IRS problems is I deal with what they call the collections department of the IRS. So people don't understand that, right? That there's a different departments in the IRS, right? So they have an audit, section. They have the processing section department. They process all the tax returns, and then they have the auditors who audit some of those tax returns, and then they have a collections department for the people to collect what people who don't pay. Now they call this the gap. And what happens? 85% of all Americans pay their taxes on time and file their tax returns on time. 85%. The tax gap, they call it, is the difference between those that don't file on time. And again, they say that's 15%, and it's a fair amount of money.
That's a fairly large number.
It's not as large a number as I thought it would be if you stop and thought about, because you got to pay the IRS all this money.
Really?
Yes, but this is why. People are afraid of the collections department of the IRS.
I am.
Because they have this power. I'm not afraid of them because I fight them all the time.
As a consumer.
Oh, well,
I didn't mean as an attorney. I apologize. I was just trying.
I fight them. I fight the IRS, and because I try to get a good deal and get justice for my clients, because they don't always get it with the IRS, because the IRS is used to doing what they want to do, and especially the IRS collections department. So how do you get in the IRS collections department? Well, the first thing that happens is if you file a tax return and you owe money, right, and you don't pay them, initially what will happen is the IRS will send you a letter. It says, hey, you owe us some money. You have 30 days to pay us. Pay us. Okay, so you're not in collections yet. They're just saying, hey, pay us. And so actually, if you don't pay, you're not at risk of something happening, like them taking anything from you for the first month or 2 months, right? They're not going to come after you. They're going to say, pay us. You're going to pay penalties and interest, because if you don't pay the first day, you pay a month for. So it's a month, or any portion of a month, you pay a penalty.
We spoke about it as sort of having the same penalties and interest as missing a toll.
Well, it is that. It's not quite as onerous as a toll.
No, I know, but it's the same concept.
Well, and that's, you don't pay them, they want their money, you're going to pay a penalty.
Yes.
And so when people say, well, can you get, Attorney Leahy, can you reduce the interest that I'm paying? If I can reduce some of the penalties or some of your taxes, then the answer is yes. But if I can't, then the answer is no, because you're going to pay the government interest on the money that you should have paid them, and they're never going to let you not pay interest. Well, I shouldn't say never, because there's ways, the offer and compromise, the partial installment agreement. So there's ways to avoid it.
Or if you declare a Chapter 11 or Chapter 13 or 7.
So sometimes there's ways to do it, but generally, if they can collect from you, they're going to collect from you. Okay, so first thing they're going to do is they're going to send you this letter that says that you owe. Then they're going to send you another letter. They're going to they're going to say, hey, you owe us. Now, if you don't respond within those 30 days, then you go into collections, to the collections department. Okay? So if you don't pay the first bill, they'll send you another one, but you're already going to go, if you don't pay, you're going into collections. So if you still don't pay, you will receive a final bill, and collection actions will begin. Okay? So collection actions are things like levies, liens, garnishments, passport stuff, this kind of stuff. These are collection actions that the IRS takes to collect from you.
That's amazing. They're able to take your passport. Not a lot of people know that. I know that's a couple of years ago, but still, people aren't necessarily aware of that. They're not really aware of that.
I agree with that.
Information.
So now, when you're in collections, that you're in collections, now they'll start following this regulations of how they can start taking things away from you. Because just because you go into collections, tomorrow they can't go to your bank account. Okay, tomorrow they can't go and snatch your home away from you. Tomorrow they can't go after your wages. Okay, there's a process that they have to follow, and it's regulated by law. Okay, so they have to send you these notices, and most of them, I think all of them, are really automated. So they go through an automated process, and they start sending you letters, and it gets more and more onerous as it goes, and they start telling you, we're going to start taking things from you. Okay, we're going to start taking things from you. Again, they'll send you hey, intent to levy, we're going to start taking from you, and then they'll send you a notice of intent to levy to say, if you don't appeal this decision within 30 days, we can start taking things away from you. And this is when this is the final notice of intent to levy. And it's hard to understand. They just changed this. We just went through this in my office because they changed the whole format of some of these forms, that it's hard to know. They've kind of masked it, so they make the early ones when they can't take stuff away from you more onerous. So it looks like they can take stuff away from you, but the one that they can take things away from you, they made it look benign. Like they can't, because now they can. You follow me?
I am following.
And this
so
just
it's
happened.
A bit of trickery.
This just happened in the last 2-3 months where they changed some of the
what
forms.
You're saying is that you better stay on top of this, otherwise it's going to get out from under you.
Because then now there's things you can do in the action to stop or suspend collection actions. You can do the things that we talk about, the 6 things you can do if you owe the IRS money, and then you can suspend or eliminate these collection actions. But that's what it is. The collections department of the IRS is the people that that's the department that I really deal with when it comes to helping people with IRS problems. I don't think most people understand that there's a department that I fight that's really regulated, that has to follow these specific rules, and my job is to make sure they follow all those rules and give you all of the breaks that are in that law to make sure that that's what happens.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. That's why Opem Tax Resolution is there for you. 312-664-6649, and visit freeirsbook.com. See what I did there?
Oh, yeah.
Now, this segment, I'm going to tell you to go to freeirsbook.com, because what we're talking about, we talk about in the book. I mean, we is on the show. So remember, go to freeirsbook.com. Get a copy of your free IRS book today. And remember, it's free, all right? Also, to listen to our sponsors and come right back here on AM560
the Answer.